Okay, let's get started. This is actually my first lesson. Last time it's just an appetizer.
Yummy.
So this is the first course. Okay. So the first lesson. So if people ask you what is this group all about, is that a group where you meet boys or meet girls? Tell them this group is about life. It's all about life. It's about all the big questions about human existence, such as is there God? Is there ultimate meaning and purpose? If God's all powerful and all compassionate, and why is there suffering? Why is there natural disaster like tsunami in Japan, tornadoes in America? And why is there so much human evil? Injustice, poverty, oppression, abuse. And also the question about personal predicaments. Why am I stuck in a loveless marriage or meaningless work? Why am I so confused and overwhelmed, not knowing about my future, about whom to marry, what career I'm going to? Why I feel so alienated, so lonely, when I'm surrounded by friends? So all these are real questions. And I hope that throughout the course you can find some answer. Okay? So that's what this group is all about, right? It's different from any other group you can find anywhere in the world. I'm bragging now. Okay? This is the only group like this is in my house. So you're lucky. Now, actually, when you think about that, the question of how to live a fulfilling, meaningful life actually involving 5 questions. You have to answer the overall question, you have to answer 5 questions. The first question is that everyone has only one life. How to get it right the first time, right? Mm-hmm. If you marry the wrong person, you can remarry. But if you go through life the wrong way, you can't go back again. Mm-hmm. You better get it right the first time. You better plan carefully. That's why when you make a trip to China or Australia, you do some planning, right? You do planning. You look at the map and search, Google search. But so many people go through life without thinking even planning. They were conditioned by culture, by their parents. They go to school, get a job, get married, pay taxes, and then they die. They actually never really live, right? They just go through it. And arranged by society, and they never ask themselves, what do I really want, right? So the second question is that life is finite, life is short. How to make the most of it? Because life offers so many opportunities, so many options. So you cannot marry them all, right? Shall I marry A or B? Now you marry A, you can't marry B, right? You want to marry one, I'll be, well. Our career choice, shall I go to engineering or psychology? You know, so you don't have all the time in the world to try everything. Mm-hmm. So how to make the right choice? Choose a life partner, choose a career. And the third is that, the second and third one is related. Okay? The fourth one is that life is a constant struggle. I mean, it's for most people, it's an uphill struggle, right? And so the question is that how to overcome your obstacles to achieve your aim. Right? Some people give up. Oh, it's too hard, give up. Mm-hmm. But how many times can you give up in life? Right? Mm-hmm. they always setback, disappointment. Some students, one of my students, applied to graduate school, and he got rejected. So he gave up psychology. He said, okay, I gave up. Now, if this is what you really want to do, you try again, right? I have a friend from China, he's a medical doctor. It took him 8 years to get his license in Canada. He didn't give up. He tried to write exam here, to get opportunity for internship. Oh, in 8 years. So it is a struggle if you have a goal, right? And finally, everybody wants a better life, no exception. I don't know what anybody wants their life to be worse. Everybody wants their life to be better. But the question is how to achieve it, right? So these are the questions we need to ask. Now, I said that here we are, point A. A means where we are, okay? D means the preferred destination, where I want to be. So from here to there, there's always a gap, reality and ideal gap. Carl Rogers will say there's always a gap between the real self and the ideal self. Right? So here's the problem there, right? The question is how do we narrow that gap? There's always a gap, right? Because when there's no gap, that means you will lose your passion, you lose your idea, you become stagnant. There has to be always some tension there, some tension for you to strive towards the ideal. If you are fully satisfied with your life, then you're a dead man or dead woman. You're fully satisfied, no more motivation to improve yourself. So we continue to grow until we breathe our last breath. Right? So that is that idea. We can continue to grow spiritually. We may not be able to grow physically. Apostle Paul said that even my physical body is weakened, but the inner being is being renewed. Right? We can always renew ourselves spiritually and intellectually. Now, so everybody from here to there, everyone wants to go there. But reality is that not everybody go from here to there, right? So there are 4 life trajectories. Okay. One is the ordinary life, which is flat line. Means that there's no major up and downs. Okay. You don't take any risk. You work from 9 to 5. You work on a job you don't really like, but you don't want to take any risk, right? You marry a woman you don't really love, but you don't want to take any risk. So you just try to 做有平淡的生活啊，平淡生活。I'm speaking Mandarin now. 平淡，平淡 means not very tasteful. 平淡。You go through life, 踏踏实实平淡的生活。Practical life, just go through that real world, manage to get in trouble. Most people will be happy with that, right? And that is no major mishap, no major terrible thing happened. They were happy that they were able to get through life, without any major accident. 平淡的生活, that is a very good expression. The other one is tragic life. You want tragic life? Tragic life means that you go up and go up, continue doing well, and then you make a terrible mistake. You fall from grace. One good example would be John Edward. Do you know John Edward? No?
Yes.
Yeah. He was a successful lawyer, rich and handsome, and political candidate. You know, he was we're up there. He could be next president. And then he's greedy, you know, he cheated on his wife and had a mistress and a love boy. And then he's discovered, now he might go to jail. See? Right? Okay, boom. And Tiger Woods, same thing, right?
Oh,
Yeah. And my brother, my older brother, they're also like this. Now he's a sad story. He's a really tragic life. And he graduated from UCLA with a golden key, the best student, and go to Caltech and do PhD with 2 Nobel Prize winners. And then he got an offer a job at MIT. But he said, I want to, a long time ago, he said, but I want to help my country. So he went back to China with Chen Xuesen, Li Zhengning, the 2 very top-notch physicists. He went to China because he's outspoken, right? Just like me, outspoken, get in trouble. He sent to labor, sent out to Xiafang, sent to the countryside for thought reform. You know, so his life, you know, after that mistake, he never recovered. He said, he continued to make mistake, one mistake after another mistake, it's finished. Tragic, very tragic life. Then my brother, very bright man. Fortunate life. Somewhat lucky, right? But you know when you're fortunate until the very end, right? You can be successful and you blow everything, but in your old age. Right? You're able to actualize yourself.
Hey, John. Hello. Good idea.
I agree. That's what we're going to do.
Welcome, ladies.
Yourself. Take yourself.
Did I say high definition? Where's the Ego today?
I know.
Tell him we miss him.
I know.
We need him to man the camera.
Tell them I couldn't find my tripod. Hey, Ming, you can do this.
Yeah, whatever.
There you
He
go.
lost his job.
See?
There you go. There you go. Can you set Paul? Can I zoom in?
Yeah, you can do this. You can do anything you want.